DJI Mini 2 SE on the FCC database. Got that coming up next. Bill the Drone Reviewer here. If you like the content of this video or anything on my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. With that, let's begin. The other night I hosted Rotor Talk Live and was joined by Mr. Marcus Crawford and Mr. Ron Braun. We spent the better part of the evening discussing all the latest regarding the DJI Mini 2 SE, including it appearing on the FCC database. We went over the pricing, we went over the features and availability, and much more. So without any further ado, let's roll that clip in its entirety. We got a lot to talk about on the Mini 2 SE tonight, okay? And the first thing is, FACC. It's on the FCC database, okay? We're going to spend a few minutes going over that and going through some of the options on here because navigating through this is a little difficult unless you've been out here before and you know what to look for because there's a lot of information out here. Some of it doesn't really pertain to us as consumers, but quite a bit of it, you can get some useful information out here. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and share this right now. Okay, now this is what the FCC does. It assigns it an ID in the database, and this is it. It's SS3-MT2SD22, okay? And then SS3M, and it's different. What they do here, these are the other acronyms it can be found under. Just kind of give you a little bit of a primer. And I'm sorry, I'm going to try to mute when I'm coughing, so forgive me here. These are search IDs, and this is what these are in here for. You know, like you put the hashtags in a YouTube and tags in a YouTube video. This is what these are. This is so this can be found, okay? FCC ID is a product ID assigned by the FCC to identify wireless products in the market. The remaining characters are often associated with the product model, but they can be random, okay? And here it's the application's DJI Mini 2 SE, DTS digital transmission system. Here's a short link to it. Registered by. Now there's two applications here. And the first thing you're going to come across with is the frequency range. And this is what the FCC has tested this for. All these frequencies, the power output, the rules that apply to it, grant notes, and app. Now, you click on some of these. Some of these are going to take you places, okay? And we'll explain things. You got to wait for some of these to pop up. But one of the things that I do want to show you here, okay, we're going to go to the product label, all right? And unfortunately, you got to put up with a lot of pop-ups and a lot of ads on this. Okay, now here you can take a look and see. This is the label in the battery compartment of the drone on the door, and this is the label inside the drone itself right here. Okay, this is the drone upside down, by the way. This is the drone right side up, and you can see that there's a label on the door. And there's a label inside on the floor of the battery panel in here. You can take a look. There's more information. Now, this actually got out to the FCC database, and this is another one. Date submitted. This was submitted on the 9th, okay? And if I'm not mistaken, that was the day it was released last week, or the day that DJI announced it. So, you know, my gut feeling was that that's what would happen because when the Spark was released, FCC Grant ID was released on the same day at the same time. So this is where this comes from. Okay. Now we're going to go back here. To some other information. Now this is a request for confidentiality. And apparently they submitted this on November 2nd, 2022. Looks like short term for external photos, short term for internal photos, permanent for operation description, theory of operation, schematics, short term for test setup, permanent for tune-up procedure, short term for user's manual, and permanent for part list antenna construction. Okay. And this is good that we go through this here. Okay. And this is not only, this is any type of device. Reason, and I've had a lot of people ask me, why is it through the FCC? Because it's radio communications. Anything that's radio communications here in the United States, or uses, a radio signal has to be approved by the FCC. Okay, and this is information that you get with this. And the applicant request, this is what premature. Okay, applicant request exhibits be withheld from public view for a period of 180 days from the date of the grant of equipment authorization. Okay. Now, if you look at the date of grant of equipment authorization here, all right, that was on the 12th, I believe, or no. Okay. This is it. It would be the 2nd of November. Okay. So it's 180 days from that, for the confidentiality. And I didn't do the math, just to let you guys know. I didn't do the math on this, but I'm assuming that's probably sometime, I'm guessing in April or so. And obviously the drone's going to be out March 22nd and available to purchase before then. So, but they give it this time in case there's any kind of delays. And that's smart on their end. Now, there's some other information here. There's an antenna data sheet. We're going to try to pull this up here. Apparently, nothing's loading on this. Okay, here it is. DJI antenna data sheet. Now, some of these, like I said, there's not a lot of information unless you're an electrical engineer. You're going to be able to garner off of this. It's showing radiation pattern, radiation return loss, phi 90, theta 90. Remember geometry and trigonometry here. Okay, structure drawing, and I don't even know that's a structure of right there. So again, that's what this is like. I just want to show you several things in here because I know you guys have heard me talk about this a lot. I just wanted to go ahead and go through some of this here. Okay. Let's look at the agent letter here. And this is dated on 10/24/22, and TUV Rhineland of North America. Apparently, they're the ones that were contracted to do the testing for the FCC on here, and there's some signature on that. So that's basically what that means. This is the company that did the testing on behalf of DJI for the FCC. Okay, because the FCC they act on behalf. Excuse me, not DJI. They act on behalf of the FCC. They're testing this. They're an independent third party. Okay, they're not connected to DJI. They're not connected to the FCC, but they have to report their results to the FCC in a timely manner. Okay, now there's the applicant, and you can see it's DJI. It has their complete address here. The FCC ID, and we already went over that. Person at the applicant's address to receive grant for contact. And of course, that we just saw that. Long-term confidentiality, short-term confidentiality, software-defined cognitive radio, equipment class, related OET knowledge, database inquiry, modular equipment, does not apply. Application purpose, original equipment. composite related equipment. Okay. Test firm information, as I said, TUV Rhineland. Okay. Grant comments, equipment authorization waiver, anti-drug abuse certificate. There's a lot of information here. So, and again, this link is up on Bill Jones Reviewer Facebook group and page. Explore this to your heart's content. There's a lot of information on here. And if you're familiar with electronics, you can probably decipher quite a bit of this. If you don't have a degree in electrical engineering, you can be able to get some information out of this, but not a lot. Okay. I'm just letting you guys know. But again, this information is out there for you guys to take a look at, decipher, sift through, and, make your own, draw your own conclusions from it. But I wanted to show you some of the highlights out there. And the important thing is, before anything that uses radio signals is sold in the United States, it has to have this, okay? DJI cannot sell this, for example, until they receive their grant from the FCC. And you can see they already did. Now, it's the same way, and I'll just draw a comparison here. There's a couple of ham radios out there that are getting ready, that they've already talked about, a couple of the companies, and the big companies are over in Japan versus versus China for ham radio. The big thing with those is, it has not been approved by the FCC yet. While it's been announced by the manufacturer, they can't even list specifications yet for it. They can show pictures, but they can't list any specifications. They can't list any pricing, no information on that, okay, until it gets approved by the FCC. So FCC holds a lot of clout here. And I got to say this, the FAA could take a big lesson from them, okay, a really big lesson, because they really kind of know what they're doing in terms of, they have their act together. The FAA really kind of seems like it's a fire drill, and that nobody knows what the other one's doing, especially with remote ID. It's just been a mess. It's just been thankfully a couple of weeks ago, go back to Drone Nation 2 weeks ago. They had a great show on remote ID. They had Greg from the Pilot Institute and another gentleman. Go back and watch that, because that was very valuable information, and you'll find out a lot from that. And you want to pocket that, okay, including what community-based organizations you should join, where you can fly. There's a lot of great information. So go back there to that and take a look at that. Incidentally, here's Mr. Ron Brown.
Hello, Bill. I thought I heard my name.
Mr. Brown, I want to offer my deepest sympathies on the loss of your Eagles on Sunday.
And we lost both our coordinators there. Our offensive coordinator took the job in Indy, and our defensive coordinator took the job in Arizona.
I saw that.
We may have to borrow Mike Tomlin next year for some help.
We could sell him for a warm 6-pack of Bud Light, okay?
So I won't have to trade a first-round pick for him or anything.
No, just a 6-pack of Bud Light, and it doesn't even have to be cold, okay?
I thought you were going to say a bag of old practice balls or something.
Well, they're more valuable than Tomlin, but I got to say this: as far as Super Bowls were concerned, that was a great game, and you know what? Neither quarterback can hang their head, all right? Because they both played exceptionally well. It was a well-played game. I mean, there was that call at the end, and, and you and I talked about that, and I don't want to digress too much here, but
we're losing people already here. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of people here to hear about drones. Okay. But if you're going to call something like that, call that in the first quarter and the opening drive through the rest of the game. Don't pick the fourth quarter critical play.
Yeah,
I've said my piece. Okay. All right.
Right.
I
heard you talking about the FCC filing for the new Mini 2 SE drone.
Yes, I pulled that up, and we went through that, and I opened up a lot of the confidentiality agreement. It was 180 days from I think November 2nd for the long-term confidentiality before it expires, and I think that's plenty of time to get. I think March 22nd is well within that window. So that's not going to be a problem for DJI when it comes time to actually release it and sell it. And what's real interesting, Ron, is, correct me if I'm wrong, it came out. DJI announced it on the 9th. The date on the FCC filing was the 9th. Okay.
Yeah. And well, of course, they didn't really announce it the 9th in the U.S. or Canada, but they did in other parts of the world. In fact, did I send you? There's already a DJI promotional video intended for the Australian market. It's clearly up on YouTube for anybody to watch it. There's also a reseller, that resells drones in Australia. Obviously, a DJI dealer. He's got an unboxing of the Flymore kit up already. So what I got from Ross Langdon, who's located over there in the Brisbane area of Australia, you can go on the DJI website in Australia. It's on there. The price in Australian money is $5.99, but that doesn't mean anything to us. You could, I think you could pre-order it now, and it'll start shipping, towards the end of February.
Okay.
So it's, I can't vouch for any of the parts of the world. New Zealand. I also heard it's on sale in New Zealand. So, your FCC filing thing is right, is correct. I mean, that's what's holding us back here. In the rest of the world, it seems to be out for release. So, probably in another week or two, it'll reach the hands of the reviewers. So we'll probably know all the details way before the 22nd. I mean, we know so much from the leaks anyways, but anything we don't know, we'll know.
Yeah, and what we're going to do is, I know we've talked about it, but I'm going to bring up the article from Drone DJ that talks about the pricing and the equipment on there, because I don't know about you, Ron, but I got on my community tab on YouTube, I had so many people say, why did DJI even bother to build this drone? Okay. Was basically the reaction that I got.
Yeah.
Understood. But anyway, let's go on.
Before you start that, I'll say they really didn't build a drone. All they did was take the Mini 2, put an SE on it, and strip out the 4K video and one or two other things. So they didn't really build a new drone. They just downgraded the Mini 2. Probably to a firmware update. I mean,
they really
it was no, it didn't cost them anything to do this except have some engineer basically dumb down the Mini 2. It's the Mini 2.
It is. You're 100% right, Ron. And again, the one thing the first thing I do want to hit on here, okay? 2.7K delivers photos of 12 megapixels, okay? The Mini 2 SE is priced at $369 for the basic package. DJI stresses the perfect balance between ease of use, reliability, and affordability, okay? Starts retailing on March 22nd. Now, the much more capable Mini 2 is available to buy for $449 right now, with its renewed version selling as low as $379. One of the differences between Mini 2 and Mini 2 SE, despite sporting the same camera sensor, it's a 2.7K. The Mini 2 delivers 4K videos, okay? And
let me stop you just for a second, Bill, so we don't.
Sure.
Well, as far as video quality, they even crippled the 2.7. In the Mini 2, you could do 2.7 to 60 frames per second. They took the 60 frames per second away on the SE. You have to go all the way down to 1080p to get 60 frames per second.
See, you're right with this. This wasn't even retooling or casting new molds or anything. This was just the Mini 2 dumbed down. Really, in essence here, okay?
And given a price cut.
The Mini 2 SE Flymore is $519. A similar package for the Mini 2 is $599. It's an $80 difference, Ron. Yeah. $80, and you're getting a 4K camera. If you're going to spend that kind of money, you'll easily spend another $80. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, and again, and you get the 60 frames per second in the 2.7K. And there's one other thing that they stripped away too, and I forget what the third thing is.
Yeah, and now the only thing that I'm not 100% sure of, and I want to wait until is the OcuSync 2, OcuSync 3, that kind of thing. See, I'm not 100% sure on that because I've read it both ways. And if somebody in the chat knows for sure, Lauren, if you know, just go, please go ahead and let us know, because I've seen it both ways. I've seen it absolutely both ways. So, and a good quote from Mark: the original SE was aimed at the Indian market, So I think the 2SE is not really aimed at the majority of
Yeah,
countries. That's
yeah.
it.
The Asian Pacific, that type of markets, I think, is the intended target for this drone. But that was also the intended market for the original SE, also. So that's nothing new.
Okay, and Lauren puts not okay. It's OcuSync
Those
too.
two.
Thank you, Lauren. Okay,
Yeah.
and that's good information. I mean, you know, it makes sense, Ron, to me. Why would anybody? And it's one of those ones. It's a head scratcher because I get that DJI wants to get more Mini 2s out the door, but dumbing it down and making it only an $80 price difference from the original Mini 2, it's not making much sense. It's a head scratcher for me.
Well, I mean, it's as simple as this, Bill. I mean, unless you own the Mini 1 or the Mini SE, there's no reason to buy this drone. If you own any other DJI drone, it's probably better than this drone. You know, the Mini 2, Mini 3, Air 2, Air 2S. I mean, all. So the only reason, again, is the upgrade from a Mini 1 or an SE. And otherwise, before they pull the Mini 2 standard off the market in the US or Canada, just go out and get one any place you can, refurbished, like you pointed out, Costco deal. Just grab the Mini 2 now and call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's no sense to wait for something like this. You know, looking at the other specs, which I have done. Okay, ounce for ounce, this drone is going to fly just like a Mini 2. Okay, there's going to be really no difference with that.
I bet you did the blindfold test, you wouldn't even know which one you were flying.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't know. Okay, the range is going to be the same. The battery life's going to be the same. I mean, there's really, except for the camera here, you're not seeing
all the accessories are the same. You know.
Yeah, and you know, and well, you know, and there's a few comments in the chat, and I get it here. You know, about it being, you know, for Asian countries. You know, Southeast Asia, India, that kind of thing. And I understand that. But, you know, and then somebody also put in the chat, oh, you know, well, you say it's not for the U.S. market, and then people are going to all of a sudden want to get it, all right? And I'll throw in a real quick example, okay? One of the ham radio manufacturers, Yaesu is their name. They're in Japan, all right? They discontinued two models, okay? They were semi-popular, all right? Within 2 days, every store in the United States was sold out of them. All right, gone. Okay, yeah. In ICOM, they're another big, you know, ham radio manufacturer. They just continue to model. Same thing. 2 days, boom, it was gone. You couldn't find it anywhere in the United States. Okay,
right.
And this is, you know, DJI is smart. Okay, they're not. You know, we shake our heads and we scratch our heads. And we figure, you know, what's going on here, but there's more than meets the eye with this one.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You know, naturally, by, you know, who knows, 6 months, a year from now, there won't be any Mini 2s or Mini SEs available, and this will slot in as the only, you know, budget drone DJI has.
Yeah, yeah, that makes absolutely perfect sense.
But again, right now, go out and grab that Mini 2 now. If you don't have a Mini drone at all and you want a Mini drone, grab that Mini 2, grab the original Mini 2 right now, and you'll be good.
Absolutely.
If you're really cash strapped, if you're really a bargain shopper, run out and get that the original SE now, because it's $70 cheaper than this.
Yeah, I mean that's a real bargain. Okay, if you're looking to really cut corners and save price,
you don't care about 4K at all. Yeah,
exactly. If you don't care about 4K, you want to get a drone, the original Mini SE is absolutely golden. And
I mean, this of course, this has the advantage of the OcuSync 2 and all the advantages the Mini 2 had over basically the Mini 1 at that point or whatever. But again, if price is your number one concern, grab that Mini that SE for $299. You can get that refurbished for less than that.
Yeah, and it makes perfect sense, Ron. It really does.
And no matter how much we I hate to say hate in this drone, Bill and I don't hate in this drone, but for as much as we scratch our head in this drone, it's still better than the Holy Stones and the Roku and all those drones of the world.
Yeah, the Potenzics, the Holy Stones, the
Pretenders.
And I know you've tried them, Ron. I've tried them. I know Marcus does, and it's like, you know, it's a pain. It's a real. You know,
and they may say on the side of the box they have 4K, but it's the worst 4K video you've ever seen.
Yeah, it's, you know, and those gimbals,
Yeah, a whole lot of shaking going on.
There's a whole lot of shaking going on with those. I mean, it's just like there's nothing there. Okay, it's a price. Yeah, it's a price leader. It's going to draw people in, but that's about it. People are going to find out what a piece of junk it is, and then they'll never buy another one, and it'll probably point them to DJI.
Yeah, right. You waste your first $300 or $400 on the drone, and then hey, I should have just got the DJI.
Well, I also said, and I've always said this, that DJI doesn't. They always are kind of like one step ahead in their thinking. Okay, and there's a reason that they're doing this. Okay, obviously, they're going to clear out some inventory here. And, Mini 2 sales will probably all kind of perk up a little bit and bubble up. And then, getting ready for the next iteration. Okay. That's just my kind of thinking. I mean, they really are pretty savvy at marketing and in terms of creating that interest out there when because it's kind of dull right now, because, they just had Chinese New Year. It was a downtime for them. We really didn't have a whole lot of firmware updates, not a lot to talk about. And then boom, all of a sudden they're out there with this. Yeah. Okay.
But I think we've talked about this internally before. I think the reason a lot of people in our line of work, not really work, but is because we were hoping for a Mini 3 SE, a drone that was a hybrid between the Mini 2 and the Mini 3. So somewhere, better than the Mini 2, but not as good as the Mini 3. And instead we got a drone that wasn't as good as the Mini 2. So we kind of backpedaled around because, think about it. When the Mini SE came out, it was better than the Mini, but not quite as good as the Mini 2. So it was it was a step forward, Bill. But
exactly.
This isn't a step, ahead, really. This is a step behind the old outdated drone.
Mm-hmm. And you and I talked about it, and Marcus too, and I said, my initial reaction was, I thought we're going to have a Mini 3 SE. Okay.
Right.
Mini 2 SE, I'm like, no. And I think I kind of get what DJI is doing. They probably have a lot of Mini 2s out there and available. And then all they have to do with this, somebody pitched it to somebody in marketing and said, all we got to do is tweak the software, dumb down the camera. We have another model we can sell.
And the Mini 2 is paid for, as R&D has been paid for years ago. So R&D wise, it's free. And speaking of free.
That's it. How we doing, boys?
Good.
Here's the man. He may have a Mini 2 SE behind him someplace, but he can't talk.
I'll tell you, I'll hit that button as soon as it's available.
Why don't you hit the Australian buy button, Marcus?
I could. Yeah,
or I heard it's in New Zealand too.
Yeah, see if I could get Ross to send one for me, or my buddy Rob in New Zealand would probably send me one.
There you go.
Yeah.
And it'll probably only cost you more than a drone to ship it over.
I did get some drone mail today.
From our friends at DJI?
Oh, no.
Our friends at Autel?
No. This is an aftermarket battery, Ron, for the original Hubsan Zeno.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Remember the original was 3,000 milliamp hours?
Yeah.
This guy right here is, I don't know if that'll focus or not. 4,300 anyway.
So you got the extended battery now.
Well, here's the deal. I still want to fly that drone once in a while. I mean, not every day, but just once in a while. Obviously, it's an old drone. It's got an old camera on it, all of that stuff. And those Zeno batteries are known to go bad. So I thought I'd try this and see if I do the trick. All the batteries that I had for it, the software would then give me an error saying, hey, the battery's bad. And so, pardon me, guys.
Yeah, I hope that solves your issues.
Yeah. So these are 3S batteries. There's 3 batteries in here. And what happens is the middle battery always goes bad on them. And it's got circuitry in there that detects that.
Smart batteries.
So I probably got you guys off on a subject that you didn't even want to talk about. So
no. What said we right back in that Marcus is getting support from an older drone from a third party company. But if you are a Mini 2 owner, this is good news for you because you're going to have the battery is going to stay in production for a couple more years now beyond what it would have because of this drone. So Mini 2 owners can still original Mini 2 owners can buy new batteries for years now.
That's a good point, Ron. Having these parts around, because that's the biggest thing when a drone gets old, okay, and you go through, through iterations, and you have some of these older drones. Say, like for example,
did you go through that with the first Autel?
Oh, the first Autel with the extra premium.
There weren't people crazy complaining about this. They couldn't buy batteries anymore.
Oh well, for me. The batteries had the original batteries were horrible, okay, and then Autel replaced them and put some good batteries out there. But then after they stopped supporting the XStar Premium, you couldn't find batteries anywhere, even on eBay, nowhere. They were not to be found. I mean, and you had a brick, you had an $800 brick. It was nothing. It was a paperweight, the orange pumpkin paperweight. Is really what it was. I mean,
so that won't happen with the Mini 2 because
it won't happen with the Mini 2
batteries for years
because of this. This is good news if you have a Mini 2 for sure. Without any doubt.
Did Ron already bring up the eBay sale on the refurbished?
No.
Well,
the one Johnny's highlighting.
Johnny sent both Ron and I a link to eBay. You can buy this is from the DJI store, a refurb DJI Mini 2 Fly More combo for $369.
The same price as the Mini 2 SE.
And we know those refurbs are like brand new. So
and remember, when you get the refurb from DJI, you get the same 1-year warranty as if the drone is brand new.
Right. And you can put care refresh on it. You can do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very, very, very interesting. Now, one of the things, you got to think, and I said this before you joined us, Marcus, to Ron, is, DJI doesn't do things by accident. Okay. There's a purpose behind this, and, there's logic. Okay. And we see some of this because right now, to be honest with you, okay, it's like it was Chinese New Year. There hadn't been a lot of firmware updates. There hadn't been a whole lot of shaking going on as far as that's concerned. And then, boom, all of a sudden, DJI Mini 2 SE comes on the scene, all right? Gets everybody revved up again here, all right? March 22nd. And they're smart because it's not going to be till March 22nd, so people are all geared up again, okay? And what else it's going to do, it's going to point people to look at other drones as well, too. So, there's a lot of method to DJI's madness here.
I'm thinking about DJI. Well, so did Ron tell you, Lauren Dunauer posted that the Mini 2 SE hit the FCC database now. So
yeah, I went over that before you joined. I had that up there. But what was real interesting was it hit the FCC database the day DJI announced it. It was on the 9th. I looked on the date on the FCC database. So it came out on February 9th, and that was the day DJI had the announcement on it, which was real interesting because, and I mentioned this before you guys joined, one of the drones I can remember very famously was the Spark, because they didn't put it on the FCC database until the day they released the Spark. Same thing here, okay? And it's out there, labels, everything, to your heart's content kind of thing. But
now it did hit. Why do you think we're seeing the delay to the 22nd rather than, say, the Australia, New Zealand market that are getting it could be next week?
I think it's part of their marketing and their hype up, Ron. I think it's going to pull in people to their website. They're going to look at things. You know what? Maybe I can afford an Air 2S, or, look at something like that. Or maybe I should think about a Mavic 3, I don't know.
Or buy a refurb Air 2S. Or a refurb Mini 2 from the DJI store on eBay.
Yeah.
And of course, Bill, they have to clear these kind of monitor drones out of the way. The clear decks for the Inspire 3 coming out, maybe as early as the end of this month, next month.
Question of the day. What did you think of the DJI Mini 2 SE on the FCC database? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, it's a great day to fly.